Hey, welcome to another lesson. We have everything ready. We have all the controllers and the character is completely rigged so we can start creating the animations. Now, before we do that, I want to talk a little about the compositions and the pre-comps and how we can duplicate the compositions. For example, I have this composition, this pre-comp called character, where we have rigged all the character rigged, and now we will create like 3 animations for the character, but I want to separate all these animations into different precomps, which means, for example, on the first animation we will move the arms of the character. So I want this animation, that animation of the arms, I want it to be on a different animation than on the second one, because otherwise this timeline, this composition of the character will be really complicated. So it's way easier if we just create animation by animation and separate it in different precomps. So in the end, on the project panel, we will have, for example, a character walking, and we have the animation of the character walking from point A to point B, and the second animation is the arm jumping, and we have that animation in another precomp. The problem with this is that if we have several, if I just duplicate this composition and create some changes into this composition, the changes will be applied to every duplicate. For example, let me go from the beginning. Okay, we have this character composition. We have the composition called character, which is this one, and here is a standing. So I want this composition to be like this, just the character standing, and I want to create another composition where this character is moving their arms. So if I just click on the composition and press Ctrl and D and duplicate this character, and let's rename this to arms moving. Let me turn off this first composition. If I open this composition and I move, let's move the arms, I move the arms like this, now I'm not only changing this composition, I also changing the first one, the original one, because this is a duplicate. So everything that is done to any of the duplicates will be applied to the original composition. So that is a real problem, because if we want to create several compositions and have these compositions to be independent, and we want different animations for each one of them, we have to do something about it, because otherwise we will be changing the original, and that's not what we want. So it doesn't work either if, let me get back to where it was, it doesn't either work if I just grab our character and drop it here in the timeline again and rename it as whatever we want. If I double click and change the position of the controllers, you can see that I also changed the original. So we have to do something about it. Now, the trick is to do the following. I have my original composition, which I'm going to leave as character, and now I'm going to select this composition here on the project panel, and I'm going to press Ctrl and C, or just go to edit and press copy, and here on the same panel I'm going to press Ctrl B and or paste, or click on paste, which is Ctrl B. The shortcut is Ctrl B. Now I have another duplicate here, which is called character 2. Now let's rename this. You don't have to rename it, but let's rename this for the course sake, and let's rename this as arms moving. Now if I place this into our composition and I double click on it, if I change this, now I have two different movements. So this one is independent. This arms moving composition is completely independent of the first original character. So that's exactly what we need to do to create a duplicate. So let's close this. I'm going to delete this one. And now I'm going to create some duplicates for this character. I'm going to have the first and the original, which is called character, which is just the character standing still like that. I'm going to have this just in case, so that I have the character in the original position. Now I'm going to take this one, press Ctrl C and Ctrl B, and I'm going to call this one first animation. Now I'm going to duplicate again. I can either duplicate the character or the first animation one. Create a new duplicate and let's call this second animation. And now a third one. Let's call this third animation, because we're going to create three different animations for the character. So I want this to begin from this stance. I want these animations to begin with him standing like that, and then we go and animate the arms or the legs or whatever we're going to animate. So that's pretty much what we need to do. Now you can delete these ones. And now let's go to the next lesson, where we will create the first animation of the character.